complex specified information is not a god of the gaps argument. I.e., complex functionally specified information points to God, and to recognize this is not a god of the gaps argument. In the ongoing dialogue between science, philosophy, and theology, one of the most compelling arguments for the existence of God is based on the concept of complex functionally specified information, CFSI. CFSI refers to the intricate and highly specific arrangements of information found in biological systems, particularly in DNA, which are necessary for the proper functioning of living organisms. Intelligent design scientists show that such information points to an intelligent designer, God, as an abductive inference to the best explanation, the same method of inference used in science. Atheists, however, sometimes dismiss this argument as a God of the gaps approach, claiming that it merely fills gaps in scientific understanding with divine intervention. This critique misinterprets the argument's foundation and its reliance on positive evidence rather than ignorance. In this video, we will explore why invoking God in the context of CFSI is not a God of the gaps argument and how it provides a profound and coherent explanation for the origin of life's most intricate information systems. What is complex functionally specified information? Complex functionally specified information, CFSI, refers to information that is not only complex but also arranged in a highly specific way to perform a particular function. In the context of biology, CFSI is most evident in the genetic code found in DNA. DNA contains the instructions necessary for building and maintaining living organisms. These instructions are encoded in sequences of nucleotides, adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine, that are arranged in precise ways to produce functional proteins and regulate cellular processes. The specificity of these sequences is critical. If the nucleotides were arranged randomly, they would not produce functional proteins or enable the complex processes necessary for life. The information in DNA is therefore not just complex but also specified. It has a particular order that is essential for its function. Why the argument for God is not a God of the gaps argument. 1. A positive argument based on the nature of information. The argument for God based on CFSI is not rooted in ignorance but in the positive evidence of complex, functional information. In human experience, systems that contain high levels of CFSI, whether they are computer programs, written languages, or even complex machines, are universally recognized as products of intelligent minds. The arrangement of information in DNA is highly specific and functional, similar to how letters in a sentence or code in a software program must be precisely arranged to convey meaning or perform a task. The argument shows that the best explanation for the origin of such intricate, purpose-driven information in biological systems is an intelligent cause, rather than unguided natural processes. This is an inference to the best explanation based on what we know about the origins of complex, specified information in other contexts, not an appeal to gaps in scientific knowledge. 2. The argument is based on inference, not gaps. The argument from CFSI is not about pointing to gaps in our understanding but about making a reasoned inference based on observed evidence. The inference is that, just as complex, functionally specified information in human systems is the result of intelligent design, so too is the information found in biological systems. This type of reasoning is widely accepted in science and philosophy, where inferences to the best explanation are commonly used to understand observed phenomena. The argument does not rely on a lack of current scientific understanding but on the nature of CFSI itself, which is best explained by an intelligent source rather than by unguided processes. 3. Challenges to naturalistic explanations. Naturalistic explanations for the origin of CFSI often involve the idea of random mutations and natural selection gradually producing complex biological information. However, these explanations face significant challenges, particularly when it comes to explaining how functional information can arise from random, unguided processes. The probability of random mutations producing highly specific and functional sequences of nucleotides is astronomically low, far beyond the material and time resources of the entire 14-billion-year-old universe. The argument for God is not an appeal to ignorance but an inference to the best explanation. The origin of such information is best explained by an intelligent cause, rather than by unguided, incremental processes. This conclusion is drawn from the evidence of functional, specified complexity, not from a lack of alternative explanations. 4. The principle of sufficient reason. The principle of sufficient reason states that everything that begins to exist must have a reason or cause for its existence. When applied to CFSI, this principle asks us to consider the sufficient cause for the origin of such highly specified information. While natural selection and mutation can explain variations within existing genetic information, they do not explain the origin of the functional information itself. Invoking God as the source of CFSI is not an ad hoc explanation but a reasoned conclusion based on the principles of causality and reason. It is a rational inference that provides a sufficient cause for the existence of life's information systems, consistent with the evidence of purpose and design observed in nature. The coherence of the argument. The argument that CFSI in biology points to God is not a God of the gaps argument. It does not rely on ignorance or the absence of a natural explanation but on positive evidence of functional, specified complexity. The argument is rooted in the observation that systems containing CFSI, whether biological or artificial, are best explained by an intelligent source, not by unguided processes. This argument is consistent with the broader philosophical and theological tradition that recognizes purpose and design in nature as indicators of an intelligent cause. It complements, rather than contradicts, scientific understanding by addressing questions that go beyond the scope of empirical science and delve into the origins and meaning of the complex information that drives life. Conclusion. The argument that complex functionally specified information in biology points to God is not a God of the gaps argument. It is not an appeal to ignorance or a placeholder for future scientific discoveries. Instead, it is a positive argument based on the complexity, functionality, and specificity of the information found in biological systems. The argument provides a sufficient cause for the origin of life, consistent with the principles of causality, reason, and the evidence of purpose and design observed in nature. Rather than diminishing as science advances, the argument for God's involvement in the origin of CFSI remains robust, addressing questions that go beyond the scope of purely naturalistic explanations. It represents a thoughtful engagement with one of the most profound mysteries of life and provides a coherent explanation that complements, rather than contradicts, scientific inquiry. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and comment below if you agree or would like to add your thoughts.